Please, I want to ask, is Nigeria really cost? I want to ask, who cost us?
No, sweethearts, we are not cost. All right? Just pause it there. We are not cost as a nation. If we as parents always make it our duty to criticize government without even looking at ourselves and our children, we'll end up raising children that will be stealing and vandalizing properties meant for us, or vandalizing amenities meant for our own usage. Go to the rural communities. You will see a lot of vandalisms. You will see cables on the floor. You will see wires. You will see oh God, wires on the floor. Now our people, they do one. It is just that some of you aren't exposed enough to understand some things about this nation. And I would have loved you to do your research properly before you use strong statements on Nigeria. Do you understand that? So, my darling sister, we are not cost. Now, I'm going to explain certain things to you as well as to so many Nigerians out there who are so quick to jump out there and make their accusations. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to my channel. This is Qinspride.
Please, I want to ask, is Nigeria really cost? I want to ask, who cost us? So today, being 8th of January 2026, the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commissions has just reviewed that Togo, Niger Republic, and Benin Republic, they owe Nigeria over 25 billion naira for electricity. These three countries are owing Nigeria 25 billion for electricity. Do you know the shocking part? Make I shock you. These three countries, Togo, Niger, and Benin Republic, get 24 hours electricity. 24 hours, steady. They know they take light. They don't know what is called NEPA and up NEPA. They don't know what is called take light. The only time your light will be off is when your money finish. The moment you recharge, you subscribe, your light is back. They have 24/7 electricity. They owe us. And in Nigeria, where they supply them lights, no get 24/7 electricity. In fact, I can't brag of 10 hours electricity. I can't even brag of 10 hours electricity, let alone 27. The question now is, who costs us? Why is the government hell-bent on suffering Nigerians? Why? The electricity that is not even enough in our own country, they supply them to other countries, giving them good living, quality electricity, enough electricity. And we, the supplier, are suffering to the point that they owe them. What crime have we committed against APC? Especially, it's even worse under Tinubu administration. It's even worse under this regime. What wrong have we done as Nigerians to the politicians and to the leaders? What wrong have we done? Isn't this embarrassing and laughable? People of Togo and people of Niger Republic and people of Niger, they'll be laughing and mocking us. These mugus, they supply us lights with they get like 24/7 electricity. And these mugus can't even brag of 10 hours. Why? 3 countries, not even one. Nigeria, they supply electricity to 3 countries. 1, 2, 3. Niger, Benin Republic, and Togo. They have constant, steady electricity 24/7. I have born in Togo. I have born in Benin Republic. 24/7 electricity. And Nigeria can't. Oh, goodness sake. What will be our crime? Is it now a cause or a crime to be in Nigeria? Like, is it now a cause to be from Nigeria? Because it's quite obvious. This is driving me nuts. When I see news like, I was like, what is the problem?
To say that Togo and Benin Republic, that they have constant light, it is just like saying that Nigeria has so much traffic, or that traffic in Nigeria is terrible simply because you came to Lagos. All right. So for us to get this topic of discussion clear, the NERC, that is the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, in its third quarter 2025 report disclosed that Togo, Niger Republic, and Benin Republic owe Nigeria $17.8 million, which is simply 25 billion naira. This is how it came about. That's the figure. The three countries engaged in these transactions via their regulatory bodies. That is the regulatory body of Togo, that of Benin Republic, and that of Niger Republic. The Nigerian regulatory body reported that these foreign bilateral clients bought electricity from the grid-connected GenCos. They were invoiced $18.69 million before by the Nigerian market operator. However, they paid only $7.125 million, leaving an outstanding balance of $11.56 million. That's the first one. Also, these same international bilateral clients had an outstanding invoices totaling $14.8 million, of which they paid $7.84 million, hence a debt of $6.23 million. So, if you add $11.56 million to $6.23 million, it will give you $17.79 million, approximately $17.8 million. That's how the figure came about. Now, before we proceed, I would love us to know the population of these three nations. The population of Togo is 9,721,608 people. That of Niger Republic is 27,917,831 million people. That of Benin Republic is 14,462,724 million people. So the total of the three countries, that is the three countries put together, they are 52,102,193 people. That is actually the total of these three nations put together. This particular figure is actually 1/5 of Nigeria's population. These three nations put together, they make up 1/5 of Nigeria's population. Nigerians on a normal ground, they said we are 230 million, but we are more than that. Alright, so let us just put it that these three nations, their total number make up only 1/5 of Nigeria. Now the question is, does Togo have constant light? I'm going to answer that question. The answer is no. Now a lot of you are going to shout, why are you saying that? We have constant light. No. Let us rephrase it. Does the urban regions or the cities in Togo have constant light? And I will say yes. Only 55% of Togolese have access to constant light. Now, as for Togo, the urban region of Togo has so many foreigners. So what it simply means is that 90% of Nigerians that are resident in Togo live in the urban center, that is in their capital city, Lomé. Okay? What it simply means is that so many Nigerians live in their capital city where they have stable power supply. And that is why they praise the nation, because that is what they see. Now, what about what they do not see? Aside the urban regions, so many places in Togo are rural. Togo is not like Nigeria. In fact, Togo and some other neighboring African nations aren't like Nigeria, whereby you see city here, you see another big city here, and cities are competing. In these areas, aside their capital city or one or two cities, the rest are just rural. So, the majority of the Togo neighborhood are rural communities. And 1/3 of these rural communities in Togo have access to light. So what it simply means is that 2/3 of these communities do not have constant power. In fact, they have epileptic power supply. And about 1/3 of these communities do not even have access to power supply at all. So for some people that even travel a lot and they travel outside the urban region and they enter within the villages, they will realize that they do not have constant power supply. So they only allow you to see what they want you to see. And remember that Togo, they are not more than 10 million. Did you understand that? And so a lot of Nigerians are residents in the urban centers or in the urban region. Let's talk about Benin Republic. That is their urban region or their urban center is Cotonou. Cotonou has a bit of a stable power supply, but that is where it ends. What about the neighboring rural communities? In fact, there are communities or there are rural areas or rural communities in Benin Republic that do not even have access to electricity at all. But for their centers, for their urban regions, they have stable power supply. Remember that they are not much. Let's go to Niger Republic. Despite that they buy light from Nigeria, theirs is the worst because of their rapid increase or the rapid population. Niger is over 27 million in population. So imagine Togo. If Togo that is less than 10 million and Benin Republic less than 20 million, if they are still suffering from power supply, if their rural communities are suffering or are struggling to get constant power supply, imagine what will happen to them by the time they are up to 27 million like that of Niger Republic. Theirs may be worse. Niger Republic has about 27 million inhabitants or citizens or people, and they are suffering from epileptic power supply. When they were 8 million, 9 million, they had a bit of a stable power supply. Now they don't have. They are struggling. Only a few cities do have power supply. That is, do have power supplies, and those ones do have epileptic power supply. These three nations combined together, they are just 1/5 of Nigeria. And a reasonable person standing in front of camera decided to compare each of these nations to Nigeria. Sweetheart, we are not cursed. That is why I'm taking my time to explain to us. Now the question is, why is it that despite their negative sides, we don't hear them on our media like TikToks and the rest of them? The first is that they are French-speaking nations. So their TikTokers, their YouTubers, or their lamenters will lament in French. So we, the English-speaking nations, we will not hear them. Second, even if they hear us or they understand that we are praising them, they wouldn't want to demarcate their nation, unlike what we do in Nigeria. One of the major factors is that we in Nigeria, despite how educated we are, we prefer to listen to TikTokers. We prefer to listen to people who do not verify information before they stand in front of a camera. And we share them, despite how educated we are, without trying to confirm or do our research properly when we watch these videos. If you also check, you will realize that each of these nations are just the same size as the sizes or the population of random states in Nigeria. So, why will somebody in their right mind compare these nations to Nigeria? There are places in Nigeria with constant power supply. They are called the Band A group. In Lagos, there are Band A's. Now in Nigeria, bands are between Band A through Band E. Alright? Now Band A's do have lights between 21 to 23 hours, sometimes 24 hour supply. Alright? Band B's, I think they have between 17 hours to 21 hours power supply. We have Band C's to Band E's. Now, in some regions in Nigeria, they are under Band C or Band D or Band E. Dear brothers and sisters, power is not cheap. To have constant power supply, it is not cheap at all. Some of you pay 5,000 naira and you still want to have constant power supply. If you go to all these neighboring nations that we claim, that we praise, that they have power supply that is constant, go to Ivory Coast, go to Togo, go to Benin Republic, and even Ghana. They pay through their nose. Power is not cheap. If you want to have constant power supply, that is very okay, but you're going to pay. Band A's are paying through their nose. It is not funny. I am in Band A. There are some compounds that pay 500,000 every month because their power is connected direct. They are not using prepaid. For those of us using prepaid meter, some pay between 50,000 naira to 100,000 naira per month. For prepaid, if you want to own your ACs and other things, if you want to manage it, you pay 50,000 per month. That is prepaid. In fact, sometime last year, some people protested against Band A and they said they don't want to use Band A again. They don't want constant power again. They are charging them so much. So power is not cheap. Now, there is something I want us to know. No matter what we do, power will never be constant in Nigeria. Having constant light in Nigeria is impossible or unrealistically achievable. Let me explain why. First, it is a business venture. So, for all the countries that Nigeria supply power to or supply electricity to, it is not free, neither is it cheap. It is expensive. And they got to pay. And so, it is a business venture. Even if we force our government to retract our light from them and to stop supplying them power or supplying them electricity, we will still not have constant light because these three nations merged together will only make up about 1/5 of our population in Nigeria. So if we're talking about nations like some neighboring nations like Ghana or some other nations, it will be practicable. By the time you retract those lights or you cancel the contract, you'll be able to spread the power. However, even if we pull all of them together, it will only be for 52 million people, whereby we have more than 230 million people in Nigeria. So yes, even if we stop supplying them, we will still be battling with epileptic power supply. Why? Because of the generation of power. The power we generate in this nation is not that much compared to that of South Africa and some other nations, big nations like those in the northern part of Africa. Even South Africa that generates the highest in Africa, they are still suffering from epileptic power supply. Why? Because of heavy industrialization in South Africa. Second, employment opportunities. There are companies, multinational companies in Nigeria that strive on competitive markets. Solar companies, generator companies, fuel stations, petrol stations. What happens when we start having power supply that is constant in this nation? So many of them will leave Nigeria and our people will lose their jobs. You may say, oh, let them lose their jobs because you are not working there. Just a few days ago, we had national grid collapse. So imagine what will happen when the entire nation has constant power. A lot of things are going to blow up. It is not even going to be possible. Why? Because of how highly populated we are in this nation. One is vandalism. Now we be our problems in this nation. So many of my brothers and sisters are busy stealing cables and wires. There are rural communities that their members in government provided some amenities and they vandalize those amenities. Can we talk to ourselves? If we as parents always make it our duty to criticize government without even looking at ourselves and our children, we'll end up raising children that will be stealing and vandalizing properties meant for us, or vandalizing amenities meant for our own usage. So yes, that's part of the problem. Go to the rural communities. You will see a lot of vandalisms. You will see cables on the floor. You will see wires. You will see wires on the floor. Now our people, they do yet we still want a better nation. We cannot eat our cake and still have it. So if there are efforts being made for us to have light and our people are busy destroying and stealing to sell for their own short-term personal gain, it will be difficult for us to achieve our purpose or our dream. Now, what do we do at least to help ourselves? First, there should be privatization of this electricity supply, state by state. Of course, some states, they've already keyed into it. I would still say we should also narrow it down to cities. City by city privatization or privatization by local governments. It will be easier that way to be managed. Second is to arrest all these vandalizers. It is very important. Third, we need to find out the bands we belong to. So many Nigerians do not even know whether they are in band A or band B, band C, band D or band E. They want to have constant power supply while they are in band E and they are paying 5,000 naira. Some are even paying 2,000 naira every month. Third, seal compounds that are notorious in tapping lights without paying. Because what they do is that when they tap this light and they did not pay, all this will read on the meter in the transformer. And so, people who pay for electricity will be the ones that will be billed. And these are those that are connected direct to postpaid, that pay direct to NEPA. So it is going to be difficult for them to even pay. Why? Because those notorious compounds that are busy tapping lights, they will not pay. They will still be shouting that Nigeria is bad government, but they are contributing to the bad government. They are contributing to the suffering that we are facing in this nation. Fifth, let Nigerian government make sure that all Nigerians migrate to prepaid meter usage. It is easier for us. Pay as you use. So that if your light is off, you know your light is off, you didn't pay. To reduce the amount we'll pay, we'll be able to manage our lights. For those of us that have ACs and other things, washing machines, you'll be able to minimize your usage. You save yourself the cost. We can do better, yes. But it is not going to be easy. There are so many things at stake. Go and check all the nations that have this high population. None do have constant light. As for those thinking that because Togo have constant power in their cities, that Nigeria as a whole will have constant power. There are so many places in Surulere or on the island or in Ikeja that have constant power. And the number of the populace or the population in these cities are higher than the entire number of people in the urban regions of these cities in the nations that you are comparing us to. You see, dear Nigerians, before you compare us to all these nations, try to do your research properly.